5 plays, 4 countries, one deadly concept that's cooking defenses worldwide. What's good, everybody? Welcome to X's in Overtime, where I break down the smartest and most creative plays happening around the world. I'm Anthony Goods, former NBA scout, current coach, and full-time hoop head. Here's how the show works. Every episode, we'll dive into 2 NBA actions. Then we'll look at 2 international sets in the segment I call X's and Overseas. And finally, we'll finish with a wild card where we spotlight subtle genius and coaching tweaks that separate the good from great. Today, we're locked in on one of my favorite concepts, and that's the stack pick and roll, also known as the Spanish pick and roll. But I ain't gonna hold y'all up any longer. Let's get started. Quick primer. The Spanish pick and roll is simple but lethal. You got your standard ball screen set up, but here's the trick. A back screen is typically set on the big defender, allowing the ball handler to get downhill, the big to go for a lob, or the screener to pop out for a 3. In this first play, as you can see, we have the Boston Celtics against the 76ers, and Boston used this as their opening set. This is a great set to see how the opposing team is going to defend pick and roll, as well as some of your other players involved in the action. As we run it back, let's break it down to see exactly why this play worked in this game. Derek White's going to hit and chase with Jaylen Brown, and Jalen's going to run off this flare set by Keita. As you can see, Embiid tracks the flare for a couple steps, which puts him at an even deeper drop by the time the on-ball happens. Embiid was 14 to 16 feet away from the screener at the point of impact, which is the first major problem for the Sixers on this play. Derek White could have easily pulled up for 3, but he found Keita late after a brush back screen by Hauser. When New Orleans played Orlando, they used a Ram-Spain pick and roll to get Zion downhill for an easy layup. 4-5 stack actions are murder if you have the right personnel. The play looks simple, but there's a detail in this that makes me love it. It starts basic with Poole setting the Ram screen for Missy to come set the on-ball. I love Missy's screening angle because he's forcing the over. I also like that he's flat so he could easily flip the screen if he wanted to. With a flat screen, Zion can easily drop to either side. Zion rejects the screen anyway and gets the layup, so the execution was good regardless. Now it's time for X's and Overseas, where we see what the international coaches are cooking up. Staying on the theme of Spain pick and rolls, we got Real Madrid getting into the stack pick and roll out of a flex action. Everybody runs stack pick and roll these days, so the more you can disguise it, the better chances you have of success. Now let's see why they were able to get this lob off. Starts off like a normal flex action. Campazzo comes across the paint to set the flex screen. Tyler Dorsey tries to top lock the down screen, which forces Campazzo to go for a dribble handoff. Now this is where this play gets interesting because you could easily run it to either side. Whether Campazzo caught the down screen and ran the pick and roll going left, or if he took the dribble handoff and ran it to the left or right, he still would have a single side tag, which is what they were targeting. He comes off the DHO and then uses the on-ball as a rescreen, which gets Milutinov moving a little too much laterally, and he's able to find a lob on the backside. Love this action for the variability. In Germany, we had another opening set that used the stack pick and roll. Try to tell y'all this play is popular, man. They're able to get a layup on this one, but let's see where this whole play broke down for Zalgiris. From the jump, Zalgiris was super aggressive, forcing the catch well above the three-point line. We had a rip screen for the point guard to go through, and a wide pin down for the off guard in the corner to come receive the handoff. At this point, the handoff is so high out of the operating zone, if Sylvan Francisco just goes under the DHO, he could blow this whole play up. But the big has to give him space so he has that gap to get under. Then the play continues to break down for Zalgiris. Bayern's able to get a clean hit on the big above the free throw line, and my man Dustin Slave is not in the low man position, which allows XRM to get the layup. Like I said, simple play, but it's lethal. Finally, it's wildcard time, and this is where things get really creative. Today's wildcard is Zalgiris, and they ran a full-court Spain pick and roll for a layup within 10 seconds. I really like this play, and I've seen Zalgiris run it 3 times this season, and they scored on it twice in less than 10 seconds. Definitely one to add to the special situations playbook. The point guard catches in the left channel, and the big sets a screen in the backcourt to get the point guard downhill. The big defender will rarely follow the big that deep in the backcourt, which makes him a clean target for the 4 to set the back screen once they cross half court. In most full court late clock situations, defenders will negate their gap and shelve discipline and positions, which happens here and allows the big to get the dunk over the top. We'll see Zalgiris run this set again, and this time the big attempts to set the screen around half court, forcing the defender to go under, and Sylvan is able to shake him loose for a three. Love displaying creativity, but like it more when the screen is set in the backcourt. So there you have it. That's 5 stack or Spain pick and roll plays from the NBA and EuroLeague. The Spain pick and roll is said to have originated in Europe. Some say it was Sergio Scariolo, and some say it was Željko Obradović. There are claims that both have done it in 2009. I've seen visual evidence of Obradović run it in 2009, but also Scariolo said he ran it in 2009 as well. Here's Scariolo describing how he invented the Spain pick and roll.
When you find something new and you start using it, and I can tell you, when I put it first on the floor, that was by total hazard. I was in Hinky. They had to call it Russian because it was basically invented in Hinky back in 2009, when I had a situation where I needed to hide an extra non-shooter from our scheme, or because I didn't want a double side with a non-shooter. We could stand a non-shooter on the single side, on the side where the ball was driving, but we couldn't handle a non-shooter on the weak side, right? Because his man was going to be into the paint, and we were kind of basically struggle to hit back then our big guy Tima Mozgov, who was our very young, extremely young. I got it from the second team probably 2 months before. So I had this guy, Ponkrashov, Mil Palacio, both were good handlers, strong players, good drivers, not good shooters. And in general, I didn't have many good shooters into this. So I said, something which happened was that Ponkrashov on a pick and roll by Palacio was caught off guard. He was in the paint. And all of a sudden, he was seeing Mozgov running by him, and he hit his man, and a fantastic alley-oop came up. Palacio hit Mozgov with a fantastic alley-oop. I had never seen it before. So I said, wow, this is something which could work, because you can put the non-shooter right there, make it the back pick. So that was the very first time when I use it. And then, of course, you had to start elaborating and changing and putting people in the right spot.
So that was Scariolo. Andrea Trinchetti said that Željko Obradović was the first one to do it in 2009, and then there was some visual evidence of him possibly doing it in 2002 as well. But I think 2009 is more clear evidence. Credit to Basketball Head for those clips, but I'm not sure who started stack pick and roll, whether it was Obradović or Scariolo, but nonetheless, it's used everywhere today, and it did originate from Europe, so we got to show them some love for that. But that's all we got, man. This is the first episode of X's in Overtime. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I'll be back soon with some more plays. I appreciate all the support. Please continue to show love, like, and subscribe, and leave a comment of which set you like the best. But that's it. I'm Anthony Goods, and I'm out.